Good morning, students. Welcome to SRBPS Virtual Classrooms. Students, my name is Arshna, your teacher to teach you English. Whenever we think of upliftment of deprived section of our society, our first suggestion comes out as imparting education and spreading awareness. But what quality of education? This is the question raised by Stephen Spender in his poem An Elementary School Classroom in a Slum. An Elementary School Classroom in a Slum by Stephen Spender. First stanza. Far, far from gusty waves, these children's faces. Now here, the word far, far is used to lay stress on the distance. Unlike other children, these slum children are away from vibrant and exuberant life. Gusty waves means strong waves. So these children are far away from the mainstream and jubilations of life. The faces of these children are withered and tired. The children are unwanted and are forced to live life of insignificant and unkept like rootless weeds. So their faces are compared with rootless weeds. Their hair is scattered untidily around their faces. So these children are having torn hair round their pale face, and this indicates their being unwanted, feeling insecure and neglected there. So this simile is used to show that. Now a tall girl has a weighed down head as she is bent down with burdens of life of poverty. Another young boy is so weak and timid that it seems as if he is made up of paper. Due to malnutrition and living in unhygienic condition, he has developed diseased eyes. And rat's eyes is a metaphor used here to describe hunger, greed and fear hidden in his eyes. He is timid like a rat and searches for food and security. Paper seeming boy is a metaphor used here to describe the thin-built boy with bloodless white face. Figure of speech used here. First figure of speech, repetition. Then we have simile in the second line. We do have images of paper seeming boy here and metaphor rat size, right? Now next lines. Stunted unlucky heir of twisted bones reciting a father's granal disease. Using father's granal disease as a metaphor, poet wants to say that the quality of boy's life has been severely affected by his father's weakness. What he learns or recites is what his father used to do. So here somewhere using the contrast, poet introduces another sweet and young boy who is in contrast with the dim class. He is sitting unnoted there. This young boy is sitting there with dreamy eyes, which might be dreaming of childhood games on the branches of the tree room. He creates his own fantasy world where he is playing like a squirrel in the lap of nature. This is in contrast with the room he is sitting in. Poet uses squirrel game as a metaphor to describe different childhood games, and tree room is in contrast with the dull, dirty and dark classroom. So this way, poet has presented before us the faces of those children. The figure of speech used in these lines, metaphor or in reciting a father's granal disease, and another metaphor is used here in square room and tree room also. Now next stanza. On sour cream walls, donations, Shakespeare's head, cloudless at dawn, civilized dome riding all cities, belled, flory, Tyrolese valley. Now up to this I will explain you first. In the second stanza, the poet moves to the condition of the infrastructure of the school. The classroom of the elementary school has not been maintained properly. Why? See, donations. It is not being maintained properly because they are waiting for donations. The paint in the room has faded out. It's creamy now, right? So it is off-white now. So this sour cream wall, and sour means damaged. So this damaged off-white or dull colored wall creates a morbid atmosphere there. The word donation here is indicating that the maintenance of the wall is dependent on the donations given by rich. Whether it is about painting or it was about poster on the walls, or maybe even the name of the donors are written on the walls. So this donation word indicates the role of rich people in the slum children's life. Now the walls are filled with different posters, different donations like Shakespeare's head, who is the epitome of English literature. Now we have the landscape of bright morning, cloudless morning, and then we have the picture of civilized dome also, that is big buildings, which is describing, which is symbolizing the progress going on in the cities. And then we have there the picture of Tyrolese Valley, that the valley full of flowers and beautiful scenic beauty. Right? Here we can find it that their life, their sour creamy wall and these all pictures, they are in contrast. So we have another map also there. That map is depicting the whole world, avoiding the world its world. So that map is in appreciating the beauty of the world, but that world is outside this slum area. The picture showing Tyrolese Valley or the map of the world is a complement to the world outside this slum area. But these children, when they see through these windows their world. Means when they want to find out their world where they are living in, and that is slum area, they don't find it on the map. They find their world through these windows, and that world is dull and dark. And it is very, very far away from rivers, caves and worlds of appreciation. Why? Because their life is here full of fog. Even their past was there only, presently they are living there, and even they don't have hope for any change in the future. So even their future is also painted with that dullness only. They are forced to live in these narrow streets. They are confined, their world is confined to foggy lanes with no hopes in future. They live their lives in these slums, sealed in the lead sky. Lead sky refers to dull sky. So they are very, very far away from the bounties of the nature, and they are forced to live in this condition. So metaphor is used here as a future painted with fog. One more example we have, metaphor, that is lead sky, which depicts dullness of the sky. In this way, we have learnt that the poet has explained about the ambience of the classroom, and by talking about the students and its infrastructure. We will continue with our explanation in the next class. Yes friends, here are 3 questions to check your comprehension. First question is, what does Shakespeare's head suggest? Yes, Shakespeare's head, one of the donation that we find in that classroom, and the Shakespeare's head is kept there because he is the epitome of education, and especially the English classical literature. But here we find it ironical too, because these illiterate children who are still struggling for their basic amenities, basic requirements, they can't have any appreciation for the work of Shakespeare, right? So somewhere it creates that contrast situation also. Second question, write the example of images used in this stanza. In the first stanza also we had some images. As you know, gusty waves, paper seeming boy, these can be taken as imagery only. Now here in this stanza we have especially 2 modern images. One is cloudless dawn and second one is civilized dome, right? So these images are being used there. Even sour cream walls also is a imagery which is describing the sad ambience of the classroom. Third question, what does lead sky symbolize? Lead sky is referred to dull and dark sky which restricts them in this that seal them in the narrow streets of slum only. That is, this lead sky shows the restriction put on them. Okay, I hope it is clear to you, all of you now. Some questions I have shared in your Dropbox. Try to do that in your practice notebook. We will continue with the other strangers in the next class. So take care. Have a nice time. Thank you.